So we just come into this as trying to do the best we can.
Yeah, very lovely feeling basically.
Listen, guys, yesterday at Red Bull's own home race, their car stopped twice before it even left the pit lane. And while Max Verstappen was being pushed back to the garage by mechanics at the circuit his team literally owns, the Daily Mail dropped a report saying he is in secret talks with McLaren to swap seats with Oscar Piastri. At the exact same moment, Red Bull's team principal was standing in front of cameras telling the world Max wants to stay. 3 things, all happening in the same 90 minutes. This video connects all of it. The pit lane disaster, the team radio meltdown, what Mekies actually said and what he carefully did not say, what the McLaren rumor really means, and the one quote from Max himself that tells you everything about where his head is right now. The pit lane. That said everything. Red Bull arrived in Austria with their biggest upgrade package of the entire 2026 season. A redesigned floor, new side pods, continued weight reduction, 7 separate changes to the RB22. This was supposed to be the weekend they showed Max something real. Instead, the session started. Max pulled out of the garage, traveled approximately 5 meters, and stopped. The clutch failed to release. The car went into anti-stall. Mechanics pushed him back. He tried again minutes later. The car stopped a second time, this time directly in front of the Ferrari garage, and had to be wheeled back once more. His teammate Ishak Hajar never even made it out. The team discovered a late engine problem and kept him in the garage for the first half of the session. When Max finally got running, he told the team over radio, "Look what happened there on the apex of turn 3 with the engine. The drop in RPM, it's clear." He also complained about his seat shaking. Hajar's radio was equally brutal. "I need the car to give me power, because otherwise I'm going to get overtaken and then we're finished." At their home race, with their biggest upgrade, this is the morning Red Bull needed to show their driver something. The FP2 numbers and what they actually mean. When Max eventually got clean laps in FP2, he ended up 4th on the timesheet, half a second behind Kimi Antonelli's Mercedes, which topped both sessions. Half a second. At home. With the new parts. Mekies had said before Austria that he would consider the weekend a success if the upgrade brought the gap down to 2 or 3 tenths. After FP2, the gap in single lap pace was 5 tenths. On long run pace, it compressed to around 2 to 3 tenths, which is more honest, and Mekies admitted that figure. But there is a layer beneath the timing screen that matters more than the gap itself. Red Bull could not run a proper program in FP1 because of the mechanical failures. That means they arrived at FP2 without the clean baseline data they needed to understand the new floor. Without that data, the setup they ran in FP2 was educated guesswork. Everything they learned this weekend is being learned later and with less information than Mercedes and McLaren had from the start of Friday morning. Mekies speaks and reads between every line. Between the 2 practice sessions, Mekies walked into the media pen and was asked directly, "Has Max given his word that he is staying?" Mekies smiled and said, "I'm not asking Max every week if he's going to stay. Max has made clear to us that he wants to continue with the team. It's equally clear that he needs a fast car for him to be happy with the team." Read that twice, because what Mekies confirmed in those 2 sentences is the entire negotiation in plain English. Max wants to stay. The condition is a fast car. The car that morning had stopped twice before leaving the garage. Mekies also said, "If the car is back where we want it to be, there will be no discussion." That phrase, "there will be no discussion," only makes sense if right now, with the car where it currently is, there is discussion. He is not reassuring the press. He is describing a conditional relationship publicly at his team's home race, because that is the honest truth of where things stand. The McLaren bombshell and what McLaren's denial actually means. While all of that was unfolding on track, the Daily Mail published a report from respected F1 insider Jonathan McAvoy stating that secret preliminary talks had taken place between Max Verstappen and McLaren. The reported scenario: Max moves to McLaren, Oscar Piastri moves to Red Bull in a straight swap, potentially as early as 2027 or confirmed for 2028. One source told McAvoy directly, "It is an idea McLaren are keen on." McLaren's official response was a categorical denial. They said no talks are taking place and they are fully satisfied with Norris and Piastri. Here is what you need to understand about that denial. In Formula One, a categorical denial from a team about a driver they are genuinely not pursuing sounds different from a denial about a driver they are very much pursuing but cannot afford to confirm. McLaren hired Rob Marshall, Max's car designer. They hired Will Courtney, Max's strategist. They hired GP Lambiase, Max's race engineer. And now they are denying they want Max himself. When you have already hired someone's entire world, a denial about the person is the last polite move before something becomes official. Max's own words are the real story. Amid all of it, the car failures, the team principal's careful statement, the McLaren reports, Max was asked how long he is prepared to wait for Red Bull to return to the front. His answer was 4 words. We'll see, right? He didn't say he was staying. He didn't say he was leaving. He didn't reassure anyone. He also said something that slipped past most coverage completely. When asked about the Spa 24 hours endurance race happening this same weekend, Max said, "I want to follow as much of the race as possible. I've already mentioned there shouldn't be any overlap next year." He is already planning his endurance calendar around his Formula One schedule for 2027. He is thinking about next year. He has not decided it doesn't include Red Bull, but a driver who is mentally checked out does not plan around the future, and a driver who is fully committed does not answer his team's most important question with, "We'll see." The data and context layer. The full picture. FP1, Max finished 4th, 0.281 seconds behind Antonelli after losing the opening 20 minutes to mechanical failure. FP2, Max finished 4th again, 0.550 seconds behind Antonelli in single lap pace, approximately 2 to 3 tenths behind on long run pace. Paul Monaghan, Red Bull's chief engineer, one of the last senior technical figures from the championship era, is now reported to be leaving for Cadillac, confirmed in the Austrian GP paddock. That follows Adrian Newey to Aston Martin, Jonathan Wheatley to Sauber, Christian Horner sacked, Helmut Marko gone. GP Lambiase confirmed for McLaren in 2028. Max's exit clause activates after Hungary on July 26th. He has until October to decide. Qualifying at the Red Bull Ring is today. The race is tomorrow. What happens on track in the next 36 hours is the most important data Red Bull will hand their driver before the summer break. What happens next? So this is the full picture of one Friday in Austria. The car stopped twice. The radio was full of complaints. The gap to Mercedes after the biggest upgrade of the year was still half a second in qualifying pace. The team principal confirmed Max wants to stay, conditionally, with a fast car, which they do not yet have. A report dropped linking Max to McLaren in a Piastri swap that McLaren denied in exactly the way teams deny things they are very much considering. And Max answered the most important question of his career with "We'll see." Qualifying is today, the race is tomorrow. Subscribe. Because whatever happens this weekend, I am covering it the moment it ends, and this story does not wait. The question that only the next 36 hours can begin to answer, if Red Bull show Max something real in qualifying and the race, is "We'll see" still his answer on Monday morning?